I don't normally use Twitter, but I decided to check it out the other day just to see if there's anything interesting at all. And sure enough, there was something interesting, at least interesting to me, which was a popular tweet that surfaced online, which concerned a movie that I had just recently watched, which is the argumentation scene between Nicole and Charlie in Marriage Story. But the reason why it caught my eye was not just because of the great performances. I mean, it got Golden Globe nominations for Best Actor and Best Actress, but something else, which really concerns me. But before we get into it, I need to give you some context. Here is the basic premise of this tweet to showcase the scene.
What, so then you had to go and fuck someone
You
else?
shouldn't be upset that I fucked her. You should be upset that I had to laugh with her.
Do you love her?
No. But she didn't hate me. You hated me.
You hated me.
You fucked the lady once. You stopped having sex with me in the last year. I never cheated on you. What? So much I could have done. I was a director in my 20s. You came for nothing and was nothing on a fucking time.
If you didn't know, writer-director Noah Baumbach was responsible for this film and has also made numerous films such as Frances Ha, The Meyerowitz Stories, and even contributed in screenplays in collaboration with Wes Anderson with classics such as Fantastic Mr. Fox. This film revolves around the characters Nicole and Charlie, undergoing a coast-to-coast divorce, all the while maintaining their son's innocence throughout the process. And before you get into this video, I will mention a lot of spoilers and details about this film, so I highly recommend that you watch this film before you get into this video. Please, I beg you. But basically, the reason why I want to bring this tweet up in the first place was because of the replies under that thread. And here are some of the tweets.
I thought your posture at the top of scene 7 is still too dignified.
Okay.
And then at the end, I could tell you were pushing for the emotion.
Well, you know I can't cry on stage, and I know you don't like it when I fake it, but I thought maybe tonight it would come, but it didn't.
That's all I had. Thanks for indulging me.
And the main thing that they wanted to talk about was that context didn't matter. It didn't matter that I watched the film. I don't understand that. To create such judgment like that, like what you saw previously, and not have watched the film. I struggle to put two and two together. Which leads me to my first point, spectacle over context.
Shit.
What's
So
shit?
stop.
It seems to me that most of these people were very interested on the spectacle height and even had made comparisons, as you saw earlier, to films such as Fences, Revolutionary Road, and many more. It's fine to compare as to your own personal liking if that's what you want, but that doesn't make sense when you're actually trying to justify your points, because these films are different on its own. They all live in their own context. And it's crazy to me that you can create judgment through a 2-minute performance when it was intended to be this whole film. And the reason why it's troubling to me is because I actually had encountered someone like that. A friend came up to me and I was looking through my laptop to see some new Netflix releases, and sure enough, it was Marriage Story. Then my friend said that
This scene was very dry. I did not understand why the character were like that. Why did they act like that? You know, it doesn't make sense to me.
so. Then I asked, "Did you watch the film?" And she replied with,
No.
What does that mean? That doesn't make sense. I struggle to understand that. To understand something that someone just judged a film over a 2-minute part of it. How does that make sense? But basically, context derives meaning. I mean, how can you understand their motivations, these characters, when it is unclear from the get-go? How did they get there? What pushed them to build up to that emotional release? I mean, subjective opinions are fine. First impressions are cool too. That's how we get around things. But the thing is, if you haven't experienced it as a whole, and you're deciding to create a public statement or some judgment, some sense of judgment that is available for people to see and you take light in it, that affirmation doesn't make any sense. And now for the reason, I just wanted to talk about Marriage Story because I love this film. People were so focused solely on the argumentation scene when in fact the whole film is masterfully crafted with Baumbach's guidance that people missed out on. There are many moments in the film that I really love and I wanted to share with you guys. First of all, this film is very meticulously crafted. And the editing was very great, and there was moments where there was lack of editing. Meaning that not meaning that it was lazy, but there were carefully picked out moments where it just had to linger to make you feel that moment in time. The pacing was also great. There were moments where there were long takes, there were quick cuts just to exaggerate the point. Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson's performances were actually top-notch as well. I didn't expect Adam Driver to actually connect with Scarlett Johansson in the first place. I didn't expect buff Kylo Ren to hit it up with Black Widow, but they made it happen. And now to nitpick some of the moments that I really loved, just the Adam Driver singing. It was a very unusual moment to choose a cathartic moment, but it still worked for me either way. And that long take with Nicole's amazing monologue. God damn. And what can this movie offer after all that? An emotional ass ending. Just Charlie sitting with his child, just reading Nicole's therapy notes that Nicole just refused to read out loud in the therapy session, and now he's just releasing everything, just withholding his tears, and just this emotional breakdown of everything. Just watch the film. But don't get me wrong, I know I have my own biases, but I respect the people who have actually created good criticism and actually stated the points that, for me, I have watched the film, but the acting just wasn't really important, didn't resonate with me. It's fine. Subjectivity is everything. And before we end here, I just want to end off with a good note because not all of the people who replied in that thread were actually negative about the whole movie. There were actually some tweets that justified themselves and actually provided my points as well. But I appreciate the people who made subjective opinions and still justified themselves by giving points as to why it didn't resonate with them and why they didn't particularly like the writing. As long as they have watched the film. That's just your personal takes on things now. But I just don't understand the people who judge it and just have this great affirmation that, this movie sucks, but he or she hasn't watched it yet. And that becomes very troubling for aspiring filmmakers like me and other filmmakers out there, that people can just be completely shunned away by misinformation and stuff. And I know that Twitter isn't really a reliable source of information, but hey, I know that there is some genuine thought before they actually put the tweet. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, because I've seen instances of it happening to me in real life. I hope you can change that around and hopefully respect more films or just art in general. And so yeah, go watch Marriage Story.